because Five is the one. Five used to go to school with Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know Finster from Finster Bundy,
Mm-hmm.
they went to Bushwick High School.
Mm-hmm.
And Finster is the original member of Black Home.
Okay.
And he was like, hey man, I got my man that used to that you know, that hangs with me at the mosque. You know, they had the mosque on Bushwick Avenue, where the Muslims be at. And, you know, Five and Buckshot are Muslims.
Right.
So they used to go to the mosque and, you know, study their lessons and whatever, and stuff like that. And he was like, yo, I want to bring my man, Kenyatta, through. And, you know, maybe I want to put him in the group. And they were like, well, let's see what he's about. And he came through. He comes to my house, right? This is the first time I'm meeting him. This guy walks in the door, and he's looking at, like, we had a whole bunch of equipment, like DJ equipment and tape decks, because my brother was really big in the mixtape thing. And he comes in, like, I don't know this guy from nowhere. He comes in and he's scoping my whole house down. Like, he's looking at everything, and he's casing the house. So I said, yo, who the fuck is this dude right here? Oh, can I turn something?
Oh, yeah, you good. You good.
Okay. I was like, who the fuck is this man is this? And who the fuck is let this dude in our house? And why are you scoping this place, dude? I don't even know you. Oh, Five was like, yo, that's my man, Kenyatta. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, word? Well, tell your man to chill, right? Tell your man to chill. We all good here. Don't come up in my house chasing joint. Like, I'm everybody's older brother. Because that's how I always act. Like, I was always, all right, y'all little kids, what y'all doing in here? Like, they would do their demos when I would go to work. Because the equipment and all the records was down in my apartment.
Okay.
So when I would go to work at the record store, Evil would go downstairs and he would bring Five and Finster and Buck downstairs and they would do their demo. But they know that I was on some, yo, don't touch my equipment. And they would put everything back. Right? Put everything back and, you know, think that I wouldn't know what they were doing, but
You there? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. It just went dead. Yeah, man. So,
one of the last things that you heard?
They put everything back and then it went dead.
Right, they would put everything back before I got home from work.
Okay. When did you discover they were doing this?
After I heard the demo.
Oh.
I mean, I kind of knew something was going on, but when I heard the demo, I was like, oh, okay, I see what you guys are doing.
Okay. So, next thing up, you guys produce one of the dopest albums ever.
Right.
Into the Stage. You guys do the whole joint. Talk to me about that, man.
We did we did all the production on that, like on an old Akai sampler, a 612, Akai 612 sampler. This sampler doesn't even read many. It was sampled for maybe a certain amount of time. I forgot the time.
I think it's 6 seconds.
Right, and we would trigger it with an SK100, a Casio SK100. And what we would do is we would take the samples and put them on cassette, right? And then take them to the studio. When these guys got their deal, we would take it to the studio and have the engineer sample what we sampled and then put it into a 950 and an SP. But when we did Into the Stage, we didn't know how to use an SP or 950.
Wow.
We did not buy none of our equipment until, with the money that we made from Into the Stage, we took that money to buy equipment so we could start working on the sound.
That's what's up. Next.
Yeah, so when we first started production, like producing the album, all we would do was we would tell our engineer, and our engineer was Swift at the time. So we would say, Swift, take these drums and loop these drums, all right, and then take this and loop this on top of it, and do this and do that, and blah blah blah, this and that. Like, that's all we did.
Wow.
We weren't on the machines yet.
How long did it take you to adapt to the machine?
Oh, we adapted real quick. Because we was always like that. Like, me and E, we always adapt real quick to a piece of equipment. So, once we got our money, we went to Sam Ash and we bought the SP and we bought the 950, probably the 900, and then we started working from there. And we just, you know, Tip taught me the SP, which he learned from Large Professor.
Okay.
Right? So, majority of the producers out here, we all somehow, some way, learn from Large Professor.
Now, that's dope.
Yeah, so a lot of the producers on that SP12, a lot of us, we all learned from Large. We learned something from Large. Pete, Tip, me, Premier, all of us learned something from Large.
So all of y'all are like children of Large Professor.
Right. Because Large, let me tell you something about that guy. Large is he's so miles ahead, like, of everybody. When the shit that he was doing in, like, 90, 89, people didn't catch up to that until the mid-90s, right?
Damn.
And I'm going to tell you how amazing this guy is, right?
Okay.
So, fast forward to today, 2020, he comes over here, like, a couple of weeks ago. And I got an MPCS, right? So he comes in. He said, yeah, you know what? I never even seen this. Like, I never really messed with this machine and stuff like that. I thought, it's real simple, and it's real dope. Like I told him, this machine changed my life. It's real dope. That man came in, grabbed the chair, right? Looked at the machine, started touching some buttons. I turned around. This man made 2 beats on my machine already.
Damn.
Now remember, I told you, he's never touched an X ever in his life. And he came in and made 2 beats.
And when I'm talking
that
to
guy, is amazing.
Man, that's an amazing story, and that's why I respect of course we respect the people before us, the Jimmy Jams and the Terrys and the Quincy's and those. But that's why I love hip hop so much, because I look at it like this. When me and you were coming up, they took all that music out of our schools.
Right.
10 years later, we got Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, we got Curtis, we got Run DMC, the Fat Boys, and we took over the world from that. So big ups to you, and big ups to all of the producers that said, nah, well, you can take that, but we'll figure it out. Right. So now, you said you couldn't be in any house, but that's hilarious to me. That Buck was the head of the situation. So now y'all got into the stage out there. No. Yeah, into the stage out there. A couple years later, Smith & Wesson comes along, The Shining, sets the whole world on fire. Talk to me about that.
It's crazy because, so we're in the process of doing The Shining. First of all, the recording Bucktown, it was funny because he made the beat for Bucktown. But every time he would record it, like we would do demos here, take it to Nervous, get the approval, and then we would go to D&D and do the whole recording process over, right? So every time we had to mix the record or whatever, Eagle would get sick, and I would have to mix it for him. So he would do the production, but I mixed the record. And I'm telling you, it would be twice. It was twice that happened. So we used to do the demos here before we got to the studio, right? But of course, I'm always going to be, being I'm the older guy, I'm always going to be the one that's kind of got his eyes on shit and whatever. So before we started recording The Shining, I was like, I was going to do Spike started working on his solo album. And Jive wanted me to work on the album. So Jive flew me down to Atlanta to start working with Spike on his record. So when I was leaving, I said, yo, E, do not go in the studio with Tech and Steel while I'm gone, because we have to iron out the situation with Nervous to make sure that the money is right. You know, blah, blah, blah. This and that. He said, I got you, no problem. You know, whatever, right? A couple of days I'm in Atlanta, I'm working with Fife. I get a phone, I call E and say, yo, what's going on? Yo, I'm in the studio with Tech and Steel. I said, I really told you not to go to the studio with these guys. Right? He said, no, we had to get it started, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, whatever, right? So we ironed everything out. Everything was cool. So we started working on the record. When we started really going to the studio heavy, like we recorded Into the Stage at night, 12 midnight to 6 in the morning. I couldn't do that no more. So when we got the green light to start working with Tech and Steel for the Shining, I said, yo, guys, we're going to record this album at 12 o'clock and, noon to the evening. Everybody got mad at me. Why we can't record that night? I said, because, yo, your ears are fresh. Like, my ears weren't fresh at midnight. So we have a whole day of bullshit, and then we will come to the studio and work. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, your ears are not fresh no more. Your ears are full of whatever. I said, now, we would record, and we do everything at 12 noon, and fucking start end the session around 6 or 8 o'clock at night, our ears are going to be fresh. So that's why even the album sounds like that, because it was a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Tech still didn't like it, but, you know, look at the end result, though.
Yeah. I mean, going to that thing about fresh ears, talk to that so the listeners will know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. All right, so you get up on an average 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, right, from a night of sleeping, your ears are going to be fresh. So by 12, your ears like really open. So you can go ahead and, you know, work. You can hear shit clear and whatever, and you will get the work done. Whereas if you're on to studio at midnight after a full day of just chilling or doing whatever you're doing, your ears are already muddied out. You know what I'm saying? Like you've already got a whole bunch of stuff in your brain and in your ear. Like it's not gonna register as if it would register if it was 12 weeks. You did a whole days of something. And then you're gonna go to the studio? Like, nah, I did that once, I'm not doing that.
You know what's dope about that? That's like being a chef or a food taster, and you cleansing your palate, and then you start eating. The food is gonna taste better. Everything will rock better. And in music, you never think about that, because in most cases, we hear about people in the studio all times of night. They're showing up, and this could be why your tracks are melodic as well as bass heavy. Talk to me about that. How did you guys get that combination together all the time? Because it's like a flow, a rhythmic flow, but you keep them heavy drums. Talk to me about that.
Our mentality of recording was we just wanted to go heavy with the bass. So this is more into the bass. So we wanted to go heavy with the bass, and it was our process was all wrong, because we weren't thinking about nobody with home studios. We weren't thinking about anybody with who at that time was Walkmans and twins and all that. We wasn't thinking about this. We were thinking about people with cars, people with. So I had a friend, Kishan, who had the sidekicker, the old sidekicker back in the days, but he had the ill system again. And he played Diamond D's Solid Got a One-Track Mind in there, and the bass was rumbling, and that shit sounded so great, and we was like, no, this is what we need to do. We need to make records like this, heavy bass. And then when we